Okay, so in video 3, we are going to look at all the different types of angles that we talked about, and also look at when we have parallel lines in a transversal, what that means for us in finding missing angles. So the very first thing I want us to remember is vertical angles are across from each other, and they are congruent. So, for example, let's say in this diagram that angle 1 was 105 degrees. Angle 3 is its vertical angle, so it's across from it, which means angle 3 would also be 105 degrees. But there's 2 sets of vertical angles in this diagram. So, for example, if angle 2 was 75 degrees, then that means angle 4 would also be 75 degrees because it's across from angle 2. The second type of angle that I want us to remember is supplementary angles. Supplementary angles make a straight line and they add up to 180 degrees. So in this diagram, next to it, let's say that angle 2 was 62 degrees. Well, if I know that together those two make a straight line, then I know that they would add up to 180. So to find out what angle 1 is, I could do 180 minus 62, and I would get, give you time to do that on your calculator, I would get 118 degrees, okay? So that is supplementary angles. The third one I want us to remember is alternate interior angles. And those I mentioned in video 2 when we were doing the rotations and we were having to find congruent angles. These angles are on opposite sides of the transversal. And are inside the parallel lines. Alternate interior angles are also congruent. So in this diagram, the alternate interior angles have actually been highlighted. They're angle 1 and angle 2. So if angle 1 was 80 degrees, because angle 2 is inside those parallel lines, and on the opposite side of the transversal, because 1 is on the left, 2 is on the right, then that would also be 80 degrees because they're alternate interior angles. So those are the types of angles that we want to use to discover all the different missing angles in a diagram. So when we look at the example, notice we have a set of parallel lines. Our parallel lines are there. Our transversal is what cuts through our parallel line. So that is this line in the middle. That's our transversal. And we always want to make sure that we read the directions because we never know what information we will be given to get us started. So if we look at the directions, it says that angle 6 is 36 degrees. So I want to write that in my diagram. It's much easier to write it in the diagram and see it than to try to hold all that information in our head because we have to find all of these missing angles. So to do that, think about what we have. Well, we have angle 6, and angle 6 has a vertical angle right across from it, angle 7. Well, what do we know about vertical angles? They're equal, right? They're congruent. So that means angle 7 would be 36 degrees. Now, I'm not filling in any of these blanks until I get my diagram filled in. So you shouldn't either. Remember, only write what I write. Now, from there, well, 6 is inside those parallel lines, so the other side of the transversal and up above, well, that's 3. 3 and 6 are alternate interior, so that one would be 36 degrees. And then 2 is across from 3, so vertical angles come into play, and that one's 36 degrees. So notice that I used the information from angle 6 to find angle 7, 2, and 3. Now, we need to find all these other ones. Well, let's go up here to this line. So I know that this is a straight line. And up above, we said a straight line could make supplementary angles, and they add up to 180. So if I'm trying to find angle 1, and I know that together, angle 1 plus angle 2 would equal 180, I can take 180 minus 36 and get the measure of angle 1. So I'll let you do that. Get 144 degrees. Well, angle 4 is right across from angle 1. They're vertical angles. So that one's 144 degrees. And then 4 and 5, they're inside the parallel, and they're on opposite sides. So they're alternate interior, and they're congruent, so that's 144 degrees. And then 8 is across from 5, so that one is 144 degrees. So notice there's only 2 numbers that I use in the whole entire diagram, 36 and 144. That's it. So now let's go through and let's fill in all the blanks over on the left. So angle 1. Well, angle 1 is 144 degrees, so let's write that in. Angle 2. Angle 2 is 36 degrees. Write that in. Angle 3, right there, that one's 36 degrees. Angle 4 is 144. Angle 5 is also 144. Those are alternate interior. Angle 6 we knew, and angle 7 is 36 degrees. Now notice there's not a line for angle 8. Yeah, we found it. We just didn't need to write it down in our blanks. That's okay. Sometimes you're going to find more than you actually need. And that's okay. Now, the independent practice down below. The independent practice is just like that example we just did. So if you're not sure how to get started, rewatch that example we just did. And when you're ready to check, come see me. If you want to try to find 1 angle or 2 angles and then come see me, come do that. Sure, to make sure you're on the right track. Okay? And if you have questions, make sure that you ask as well.